if you look into his way of thinking, is very different. You see, love is his central theme, and he combines love with compassion. It is a little different from Islamic American educational system is teaching. If you look into that. But you do not. My name is Muhammad Shafiq, professor of Islamic and Religious Studies here at Nazareth College of Rochester, New York, USA. And I'm also executive director of the Hickey Center for Interfaith Studies and Dialogue. I also am a head of a chair which is called the Triple IT Chair, meaning International Institute of Islamic Thought Interfaith Chair, which has been created here at Nazareth College. I'm head of that also. I did my PhD and the topic was on state Islamicity in the 20th century. At that time, I was all Islamic movement I was looking into their history, the work they are doing. So I was looking into almost all contemporary Islamic movements. And at that time, I studied the Gulen movement also, Fathullah Gulen movement, which is called Hizmat movement. I studied at that time, and especially his thoughts about a compassionate nature of human being and how this compassionate nature of human being can help the world to heal. So I started to study him also, and his methodology and how his methodology is similar and different from other Islamic movements in the world. So at that time, and then throughout many years, I have been able, when I travel around, to come across people of Hizmat movement in almost in every country, wonderful work which they are doing. Fathullah Gulen movement is a little different movement from the rest of the Islamic movement. So its strength and its spirituality comes out of the Sufi movement of Islam. And the Sufi movement of Islam has different streams, Naqshbandiya, Qadriya, and others. So you can see his way of looking into the Sufi movement. But you know, the gist of Sufi movement is strengthen your spirituality. When human spirituality is strengthened through education, not just blindly through zikr alone. You know, we do give people how to do chanting and do zikr. But zikr is not alone, because zikr without education could be blind. So education is first. So educate people, and then through education, bring them towards spirituality and awaken their spirituality. Once person is educated and spiritually awakened, becomes compassionate human being. And that's the methodology which he used. He did not use only a methodology like creating halakas, like creating Sufi circles where zikr is done. He created educational institutions where through education this enlightenment can come into human heart. You know that when enlightenment comes to human heart, the human heart becomes peaceful. And once individual is peaceful, how the light spreads out to the rest of the world. So if you look into his way of thinking, is very different. You see, love is his central theme, and he combines love with compassion. If you look at Nursi emphasis on compassion. He goes further than that. He said love should be first. When there is love of others in your heart was first you should love yourself. And loving yourself, then you love the rest, because how we are together as one humanity, and then how compassion will flow from there. And that's what, how he brings here. And I think his way of thinking is very influential, especially to Christianity, to Christians. Because Christians believing on agape love concept here, and many Christians believe perhaps there is no love in the Quran, or there is no love in Islam. Many Christians have come to me, is there a word for love? And then I said, wudud is there. But they don't see that, because from the pulpits, imams, our khojas or imams usually talk about, hellfire more than love of God. That God is wudud, ghafurur rahim, ar-rahman ar-rahim. So they don't talk much about that, but they talk about the punishment. So here he talks about love and compassion. And that's a beautiful way of how Fathullah Gulen has brought to this world, and especially asking Muslims that we need to change our methodology in the 21st century to bring humanity together, to unite them and to heal them. There is a lot of problems in the world, and what we can do about that. Khidmat movement means along, you see, three things are there: education, spirituality, and service to humanity together. And also you see that Hizmat movement, all three are in one, not separate institutions. So anywhere Hizmat movement is there, you will see education, you will see charity, you will see spirituality, emphasis on all three of them together. Because if education does not lead humanity, or those who are graduated from educational institution, to the service of humanity, how the world could be healed? How we can see the pain of others? So this young generation which is going through our education must go to the streets and how to serve, see the suffering of the people, and then see how to help them. I think this is a very important movement. It looks to me that, he saw the future, where the future has to be, and the Hizmat movement, the way it is built upon it, and the way it is, its goal and objectives is how to combine all three, and that will eventually be beneficial to the world. So, meaning the Islam teaching is, in the Hizmat movement, is how these three things are essential for healing of individual as well as the community at large. Tawhidi paradigm, where is that oneness of God is there, it also teaches oneness of humanity. So the Tawhidi paradigm cannot be separated, that you just worship one God, but you do not look after human welfare. So Hizmat movement, you can see that translating the Tawhidi paradigm into the oneness of humanity. And the beauty of that is certainly Muslims are to be served, but the Hizmat movement goes along, not only serving the Muslim community, but serving the rest. And also the Hizmat movement does not distinguish between a believer and a non-believer, a Muslim, Christian, Jew, or an atheist, or anybody else. Does not distinguish in the service of humanity, because actually Tawhidi paradigm means God is one and all creation, including environment. All creation means what God has created. That means whatever is there between on the earth and between earth and the heavens, whatever is there as the creation of God, and it is the responsibility of human being and the Tawhidi paradigm to safeguard that, to protect that. So again, Hizmat movement goal is not only to serve the needy, the poor, it's also environment. It's also all creatures, everything. So how to, God created us and gave this universe as amana, as a trust. How we can carry that trust. And that trust means to fulfill that trust, you take care of everything, what is there between heaven and the earth. This is very much Islam. You see that Islam does not mean just to say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. that there is no God but one God, and Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the messenger of God. That is not just to say lip service, it's practical. You look, the Prophet, peace be upon him, first took a step to do things, then he would talk about it. The problem with the Muslim world is we talk a lot, we do not do things how the Prophet told us to do things and practice. And that's what we are lacking today. You see, there are billions of Muslims, but there is no humanitarian war taking place. There is no environmental war taking place. We are lacking this. So actually, the Hizmat movement is bringing this to the minds of the Muslims also. Look, our job is not just to sit at the mosque and pray. Our job is to pray and go forward and help the creation of God.